Welcome, everybody, to Bauer's House Podcast, Episode 8. And today, my guests are Hunter and Brenden, who both run the Hidden Details network of TikTok and YouTube accounts, which includes the Hidden Movie Details account, which has over 2 million followers on TikTok. Guys, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to congratulate you both on the success of these pages. It's just excellent growth I see here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I pretty much got inspired to do all this from Hunter. He started the TikTok journey pretty much because you started doing the Omegle stuff, right? Just on your personal page, and then, decided to jump to the detail stuff.
Yeah, it basically started with me. I created some... Brendan and I have always wanted to do content creation, and we've been doing it on YouTube for years. So I saw TikTok right before it started to blow up a little bit more because of the pandemic. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try whatever. Let's just mess around with TikTok. And I went on Omegle. I had all this equipment we used for YouTube. So I had a green screen. I had the 4K camera, which I'm not using right now. I'm on my laptop setup, so don't come at me for that. And we had all this equipment. So I went on Omegle and I actually used the green screen to make it look like I was in an office. And I'd wear a suit and tie. I'd go on Omegle. And if you're not familiar with Omegle, 90% of it is you just meet random strangers. 90% of it is grown men trying to groom you. But the other 10% is people just on there.
Right.
And I would go on there for the 10%. And when people would pop in, they would suddenly see a guy in a full suit in an office. And I'd say, welcome to the interview. Let's get started. And I would interview them for a job that didn't exist and kind of just test people's improv. I put that on TikTok on my personal account. And it just kind of like the first few videos did okay. And then one of them just went absolutely viral, like millions of views per hour. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to test, because I was still pretty new to TikTok. I wanted to test how the algorithm worked. So I was too afraid to post anything on my actual personal account because I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure that I don't mess up with the algorithm or anything. I'll create a new account. So I created the @Hidden Movie Details account, and I just made a video about something I noticed in the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then made the video, whatever. I just wanted to test, okay, should I upload daily or whatever? And I woke up and I had 100,000 followers on that account, and I was like,
amazing.
Whoa. So from there we just started. We thought, okay, well, that's doing really well. I kept uploading. I kept doing well. I thought, okay, I need a grand idea. The Hidden Movie Details, that's going great. I need something new. I need something original. I need something smart. Hidden TV Details. I'm a genius. How do I do it? And then from there, Hidden Gaming Details, Marvel Easter eggs, Hidden Google Details, and all the other detail stuff that we do on TikTok.
He's pretty much cornered the market on everything, cornered the market on all the detail stuff. So
exactly, yeah.
I know. It's funny because I stumbled upon, what was it? The gaming Easter eggs, the account that you run, Brenden. And then you told me about Hunter. And then I go to Hunter's page and I see all these different pages here and they're all doing so well. So I was like amazed, and TikTok is just really that platform right now that has this insane growth potential. You could just put out one video and you just get a ton of followers and a ton of traction, more so than any other platform right now, I feel.
Well, it's funny because Hunter and I, we used to kind of make fun of TikTok a lot for just the ads on it, because we were like, oh, this is just a Vine clone, it'll never do as big, or it'll never get as big as Vine did. But obviously, personally, I like it more than Vine now because, there's just so much more stuff on there that you can see. But, like I said in the beginning, we were kind of like, oh, well, what is this? The ads are, the ads for TikTok are pretty cringe. I don't know if they still make those kind of ads, but we were like, what is this? So then, we, like Hunter said, we got a YouTube channel, Gaming by Gamers. And then in the beginning, or not in the beginning, but one of the series that we ended up doing was Hidden Gaming Details. And we, I would go over to his house. We would work on those videos. and it was more so just like a compilation of details for, a specific game series. Like for Call of Duty, we would kind of run through all of the Call of Duty games in the series and be like, okay, well, what kind of details can we, pick out here? And we did like a few of those episodes. I can't remember the exact number of episodes, but we did quite a
23.
bit. Yeah, quite a bit of episodes. We did it for about a whole year. And I mean, it helped grow the channel a little bit. Hunter was also doing, video essays and stuff like that on the side, and those did pretty well. But eventually, I mean, life got in the way and, took a break from that. But then that's when Hunter started doing the TikTok stuff. And then I was like, okay, well, he kind of put me onto that, saying like, this definitely has potential, kind of come up with your own idea or something like that. So, I mean, I kind of, copied him a bit with the hidden gaming detail stuff, or, the hidden movie detail stuff. But like I said, we both kind of worked on the gaming detail stuff together, So, and most of the time, the clips that I post on my gaming Easter eggs account, they're just clips from the YouTube videos that we made together. So
it's nice that you could like repurpose that content like from YouTube and just make it like a quick TikTok clip that will do like pretty well too on TikTok. So
yeah,
that's a good
definitely thing. And it's like, I get some comments on my TikTok sometimes saying like, oh, all you're doing is just pointing a camera at the screen. And it's like, well, if you want to check out the whole video, here's the link, or here's the channel. But, for the format and, the type of audience that's on TikTok, it's like they're more so looking for just something quick and simple. It doesn't have to be, all quality. Like, yeah, having a quality video is nice and all, but, as long as you get the message across, people will, want to watch it, and, that's it.
Because the length of the video affects the algorithm. That's the thing. Like the algorithm really favors as like short a video as possible.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, every time I, upload, I try to say, I mean, it's definitely helped my writing skills as well, like trying to get the point across as quickly as possible, rather than writing out a whole script for something, you could just write a few sentences and then there you go. You got a TikTok video. And with the way that TikTok works, everybody's, has the chance of getting a viral video, of blowing up or something.
Oh yeah,
one video can change your life. That's what we always have been saying, Brendan and I. It's just we just need one to blow up, and then
seriously, it just takes the one.
Absolutely. Are you guys doing this full time?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we work on the TikTok videos and other stuff here and there. Would like to make a comeback for the YouTube channel eventually, but for now that's kind of been put off. We're just trying to focus on what will work and get us to the point where we can always do this full time, because obviously you got to make money somehow.
Yeah, that is definitely a goal of mine. It's like I have a day job, and then when that's done, I work on my creative stuff, video editing, podcasts, and everything. But that is for sure it for me. If I can do this 9 to 5 or 9 whatever, that would just be the best.
When you're doing something you like, it doesn't even feel like a 9 to 5. Recently I started going by Hunters and working on more videos, and like it's work, but it doesn't feel like a job. It's like something I enjoy doing and like to do, and I don't wake up every day and go like, oh, I gotta go to work. But I mean, I don't know, just keep working at it. Hunter said, he told me a while back, motivation will get you so far, but dedication is what gets you places.
Sure.
So
did you guys have something like prior to content creation that you were doing, like as far as work?
We both worked at Walmart on the overnight shift for a little bit there, but
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, personally, and I feel like just because Brendan and I grew up right next to each other, we were basically neighbors as kids, and I grew up watching Rooster Teeth. They're a gaming company or a gaming YouTube company that made popular shows like Red vs. Blue, Immersion, Achievement Hunter, and all that. And I've kind of, as soon as I realized that, like back in like 2006 or 7, I was like, you can make money doing this. It was complete drive. It's all I've ever wanted to do. And I kind of pushed that on Brendan. I'm like, let's not get real jobs. Let's do this. So I'm like, I don't care. And I need your help to help me get there. So yeah, I mean, we obviously, like Brendan said, you got to pay the bills somehow. So of course we've had our fair share of jobs, of our regular 9 to 5 or whatever, grocery stores, fast food jobs. But yeah, that's the drive and the dream has always been this, at least for me.
Yeah, I can always remember, like Hunter said, we grew up together. I mean, I think the first time I met Hunter was in like first or second grade, so we've been, friends for quite a while. And uh for as long as I can remember, he's always been the one to be like, oh, I got a camera, let's make some YouTube videos. And Hunter was like the first one to introduce me to like, making YouTube videos and all that stuff. We have some, privatized now videos because they're too cringe for the public. But, we definitely have, those starter videos, and, the ambition was always there for sure.
Everybody's got to go through those with the content creation journey. I mean, like those beginning cringe videos that are just like poorly edited, and you're also trying to find your voice too. That's another thing.
Absolutely.
Oh my god! If you go back and look at some of the first few episodes of Gaming Details that we did for the YouTube channel, my scripted voice is just as monotone and like as stale as it gets. But even with the TikTok videos, I've carried over my scripted voice. Like right now I'm talking in a natural and casual voice, but when I do my TikTok videos, like I kind of suck at, speaking on the fly. Like sometimes when it comes to a TikTok video, I always usually have to have something written out, and then, say it a few times to get it just right. But yeah, definitely in the beginning, I mean, not everybody can just be lightning in a bottle, like from the start, very few people come out of the gate like swinging and just make the best content ever. But one of the people that Hunter and I both looked up to, and, Hunter actually not introduced me, but, showed me his videos, was JonTron,
Yes.
his videos are great, and there's even the first ones. It's like, come on, like, super hilarious and all that. So JonTron was a huge inspiration for sure.
Him, Video Game Donkey, all these guys, they're just like kings of content. Like they're so good at video game content. And like, it's funny when I watch their videos, I'm like, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, but at the same time, I don't want to subconsciously like take their ideas or sort of emulate them. But I really appreciate their hustle too, with the amount of work that they put into their videos. And like their videos have so much replayability, like their video essays and all that. Like I feel like I could just always just go back and watch them. But
Video Game Donkey's video on I'm trying to think about one of my favorite, just any of his like, I know this isn't a video essay or anything, but like his Ultimate Skyrim video or the Halo recapped. Yeah, I've watched those probably like 100 times. It's like, it's a YouTube video and I know exactly what's going to happen, but every time it's still great.
He had one with like Mario 64 with all the mods, and it would just be like chaos. And oh my gosh, I would crack up because he would just make it seem like it was totally normal. Like it was just a part of the game, So good. But it's funny because I was digging deep into the Gaming by Gamers YouTube channel, and I saw you put out a video of how to make your own gaming t-shirts.
Oof,
oh my god, dude, I remember that one. I was cracking up so hard. I was the cameraman on that video.
That was I was actually loving that because it's like with household items. It's like, to me, it seemed like such a cool idea,
That it was funny because, like, obviously we tried to, mix live action and all that stuff along with, the stuff that we get like from capture cards and just gaming stuff. We try to mix it up, but I loved the idea of that shirt video, and like the comedy just kind of came naturally, like when the paper ripped and all that. I've replayed that part like 1,000 times because it was just so funny to me, just the spontaneousness of it. Like sometimes you're not even looking to be funny, but something just happens and it's like, oh, that's hilarious. So you got to keep it, So.
And it was like a Halo logo that you guys were trying to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I'm a huge Halo fan. Got some energy swords on here.
That's
awesome. My gamer sticker. This is my Hydro Flask, my basic white girl bottle.
So I'm gonna ask a question that'll probably be obvious, but do you know about Jeff Steitzer?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had him on the podcast. He was my last guest, actually.
Really? Oh man, that's amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was just an incredible episode. He's such a nice guy, and he actually got some really good press recently because someone,
the cameo?
It was the cameo, where he said trans rights, and he's just, it's what amazes me is I noticed that he's actually done quite a few podcast appearances recently, and with all of them, he did even like a Discord Q&A, and he was so patient. Like you had like some of these people in the Q&A that are like, can you add me on Discord and like, can we be friends? And he's like, oh, of course, absolutely. I was like, wow, this guy is too much. But
yeah, very wholesome.
oh, absolutely. And yeah, it was great to get to interview someone where you just recognize that voice. It's just so iconic, just growing up and hearing all of those voice lines from all the Halo games,
Yeah, I'm kind of a pro.
That is?
That's the guy that does double kill, triple kill.
Yeah, the multiplayer announcer.
I'm familiar, just not familiar with the name. That's awesome. Wow, you had him on your podcast. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Awesome. I just asked, and I'm like, you never know sometimes when you just put it out there. You just gotta ask, right?
One of the things that Hunter's been kind of teaching me is like, don't be afraid of the answer no, because one of my things is like I just have anxiety about like receiving the answer no to something for whatever reason it is. But if you don't ask, then you're not gonna ever receive.
Exactly.
So sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah. And I also noticed too that you guys had like some sort of music video that you did set to like gameplay of various games. Mm-hmm. And that really hit me big time because I used to video edit like as a teen, like just gameplay clips with like set to music to like 30 seconds to Mars or something. And it would be like Assassin's Creed footage. And back when like gametrailers.com was a website, I used to just upload all my stuff on there, but like before YouTube was even popular. But I saw that and I'm like, oh, that resonated so much with me.
Yeah, the HMVs were super fun to make. Those are like probably some of the best memories I've had like making videos because a lot went into them. And we were like, how old would you say we were, Hunter? Like what, high school maybe? Like
I would say maybe 13.
Some of the first
14?
ones were some of the first ones we made were, we were in middle school, and just Hunter kind of led the way on that, but just seeing the finished product on them was super fun. We had a blast filming them, and we would actually reach out to just like for the monster. Didn't we get just some random people online for the monster music video or whatever?
We went into matchmaking, and then we did the old Xbox Live M2AF, which means message to all friends. So I would send a message to everyone on my friends list or everyone recent players. Do you want to help make a YouTube video? And then, it was such a novelty back then. So many people were like, yeah, I want to be part of it. So just trying to direct 16 random people online. It was a little bit of a nightmare, but it was a lot of fun. And I really think those like HMVs and the video game music videos were way ahead of their time because now that's really what TikTok is. Like you see like TikTok trends to songs. It's someone recreating something with the song in the background. And it's like exactly what we were doing with the video game, like Machinima's, 8-9 years ago now.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like videos on TikTok that really sync up to the sound will really do well too.
Yeah.
And I made a Dying Light video. Dying Light 2 just came out. And there was this glitch where I threw like a spear at one of the zombies and it just disappeared. And then 2 seconds later, it just smacks them in the head. But I set it to that like Smash Mouth All-Star. Somebody, boom, once told me. So when I sync that up, the video did well. And it's funny because you just, it's just something that I've noticed. It's like if you sync it up in the right way, people love it,
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly something that we would have included in like the HMV back then. So we're definitely trend setting.
Yeah, what I could think of with the Around the World skit where you're like, it was in Halo and like each scene led to the next, like very seamlessly, like with the green screen, and it was like around the world. And each time the beat dropped, you were in like a different setting. Yeah, Hunter killed it with the effects. You gotta hand it to him on some of the edits that he made with some of those previous HMVs. I'll never forget when I first saw that Pelican scene in Reach, so it's so good that it went almost unnoticed because you're like, okay, that feels like it should have just been in the game,
Yeah, and I mean, that's when you're creating an effect like that, that's like the perfect compliment is I didn't notice it because it was a green screen, so I didn't want people to notice it. I wanted to look organic, and yeah, a lot of I mean, that was us back then, basically honing our craft, there's a George Lucas quote talking about filmmakers, but I really do believe it applies to content creators like online as well with new media. Um, everyone that makes movies is going to make 100 bad movies. So just get them out of the way so we can get to the good ones. Learn what works, what doesn't, and so that everyone else can enjoy what you're about to create.
Yes, that was similar to when I was learning how to sketch at one point, and this one artist said, "You got to get all your bad drawings out of the way." You know,
Yeah, yeah,
once you
exactly.
get through all that, then you'll get to the good stuff. Then you could work on fan art that you can, be proud of. And but yeah, that's got to be true. With movies as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you're always learning, if you ever like try to stop learning, then you're never going to be as best as you can. I mean, you should always strive to be the absolute best you can. Like even people, like tons of old film directors or anybody who's been in the content creation business, or anything like that, you just got to keep on trying to get better and better and just not be afraid to fail, like, I mean, a lot of people are afraid of failure and that's what holds them back from, kind of creating the stuff that they want. I've personally struggled with that, and overthinking as well. Overthinking is one of those things that I'm trying to work on, where it's like, okay, you sit at an idea for so long and you're like, should I put this out or should it be this way or should it be that way? And if you spend too much time thinking about that, you end up not even putting something out half the time. Like there's been countless times where I was working on a TikTok or something like that, and I was just trying to get it to be so perfect and so right that I was just like, okay, I just got to back away from this. And then I end up not uploading anything at all because I'm too focused on the perfection side of it, but a lot of the times, if you just kind of, let it be and put it out there, you'll get the proper feedback, and sometimes, you might even find that what you did right then and there was better than what you would have done if you sat and waited on it for a little bit,
Exactly. You got to put it out there because you got to also listen to the feedback, because in some of my earlier TikToks, I did one like very small clip about BioShock, and someone in the comments was like, "Hey, love the video, but you sounded a little monotone." And I really appreciated that feedback. I was like, okay, that was super constructive. So then, all right, in my future clips, I'm going to put a little more oomph, a little more zhuzh in my speech. And speaking of, you guys have great narration voices, both of you.
Thank you.
Honestly,
thank you very much.
Just totally spot on. And that was like the first thing I noticed with the gaming Easter eggs page when I stumbled upon it. And that's where people can accept that over, say, a camera pointed at a screen. You know what I mean? How someone pointed that out. It's like, hey, as long as everything else is good, narration is good, everything,
as long as you get the message across, for sure. But like, it's hard sometimes. It's definitely hard looking at any sort of criticism, whether it's constructive or just somebody being mean about something. Like, I mean, definitely, especially with like the gaming community, or I mean, all communities are responsible for this, but it seems to happen a bit more in the gaming community where people just don't really care. Like, they'll throw around whatever. If they want to be mean, they'll definitely be mean to you.
Oh yeah.
And I read comments all of the time where people are just, people definitely give constructive criticism, but other people are just like, for example, on one of my BioShock TikToks that I made recently, which actually came from one of the gaming details episodes that we did, the TikTok did very, very well. And I think part of it came because there was so much interaction on the video, because everybody was telling me, you pronounced this word wrong. And I was like, oh my God, dude, like, I don't, like, I care, but I don't care. Like, you understood what I meant. And it's just the people trying to have so much like kind of control over you. Like, oh, you got to do it this way. Or they're trying to tell me that I'm being disrespectful because I didn't take the time to go and look the exact way how to say this word. And everybody was saying like, oh, Google Translate's a thing, Google, or like YouTube's a thing. And it's funny because the way that I said it is the exact way that Google Translate said it, so you kind of just got to pick and choose your battles. And sometimes, it may help to do things ironically, like if you like I said, a lot of the times I do have a bad habit of mispronouncing things, But more often than not, I find that those videos are the ones that, you know, kind of pop off because so many people, you know, interact about it, you know, and there's people who have my back about it, like, oh, you know, you knew what he meant, you know, don't get so hung up on that. But some people definitely only try to take away the negatives from something. Like, you know, you could post a whole long video, you know, you could post a whole video essay if you wanted to. And if there's one thing wrong in it, you know, there will always be that person to go and pick that out of everything. You could have gave the best speech of your life, but they'll go and pick out the one wrong thing you did and just be hung up on it. So, you know, it's best to pick and choose your battles. And also, the gaming Easter eggs one isn't the only channel that I run. I also have a TikTok page that's about like music and stuff like that. Lately I've been going over like, you know, how bands got their names and just sort of stuff like that. And I use my narration voice. And one of the comments I got was somebody saying, oh, you know, I love the content, but I just can't get past the newsreader voice. And I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to be?
Oh,
like, I'm trying to talk it, like, I'm talking clear as possible, and you have a problem with that? Like, you know, you can't win all the time. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the definition of someone will always have something to say, no matter what, no matter how quality your videos are. You know, they'll say, oh, you got a radio voice, or you got that. So what? You know, it's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's
so
your
what?
style.
And half the time that's coming from people who, you know, don't, you know, put creations out themselves, or they don't really know what it's like to have content out there and what it's like to be a creator, you know, and have people judge their content, you know?
Yeah. I remember one time I made like a Mortal Kombat animation and I put it on Reddit. And it was like the Mortal Kombat subreddit. And I was like, oh boy, this was a mistake. Because the next day I had like probably 2 good comments and then like 20 like toxic comments. And I'm like, yeesh, you know? I'm like, all right, never mind. But,
Reddit is simultaneously the greatest thing on the internet and the worst. The number one rule of thumb I have with Reddit, like, you could go on Reddit and ask a question like, how do I do this? And then you might get no comments. But if you go in there and say, oh, this is how you do it, and you say it wrong, that's how you'll find your answer. Because someone will come in and say, actually.
Yeah, even spelling mistakes, you know, people will just pick at the little things, and it's like, come on, like, get over it, like, move on with your day, like, you know, look at the positive side of it, you know. I made a video, you learned something, you know. Why do you got to get hung up on if I mispronounced something or misspelled something or, you know, did a tiny thing wrong? But, you know, it's nice always, you know, knowing that there will always be somebody out there, hopefully, who will, you know, give you a positive comment or give you positive feedback. You know, that's just what you got to hope for and look for.
Yeah, just the consistent support from the right people. Those are the people that you should hone in on their comments, because these other people, they're just missing the whole point of the video. Just,
for sure.
It's ridiculous. But
well, and you'll get comments too. I mean, I've been on the internet a long time, so and I get hundreds of negative comments a day, and so they just roll right off the back for me. But you got to realize that, like, make content for the people who are watching. I see a lot of hate comments, and every once in a while I'll go in and I'll look at them and I'll see that they're not even following me, and it's like, I'm not making content for you. You're not even watching.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to change. It's like, oh, you should change up this, and then they don't follow to even see if I was going to change that up. So I'm like, I'll keep making content for the people who are watching.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things I deal with on my recording facts page. Some people, you know, like with content creation in general, like, not just that it's only with this, but, you know, when you're just making content out of just because you want to, some people end up starting to think that you work for them and that, you know, they want you to put out the content that they want you to, you know, like, obviously you should be, you know, keep in touch with your audience and see what they want to see. But I get comments, you know, like, demanding that I do something, like they demand that I do this band or that band or something like that. And I go and look at them and I'm like, you're not even following me. Like, you know, hit the follow button and then maybe I'll, you know, put you ahead in the line. But, you know, that shit does come from, you know, people who aren't really even paying attention to you. They're just scrolling by, seeing a video and like, okay, I'll comment just, you know, just to do it.
You get a lot of
what I'm getting from this is Brenden hates his audience.
No. I don't have a problem with fighting back with my audience, because I like to defend myself. you know, but, you know, I don't know, some people just need to be told a thing or two sometimes.
I agree with that. I there's certain negative comments I'll get where I'm like, okay, you deserve a little reply back. But then I'm like, you know what? I can't be going back and forth with these people because I got content to make, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
I get hung up on that sometimes because if you knew me, you'd understand. Like Hunter gets it, you know, even on the gaming by gamers, you know, stuff. It's mostly Hunter's thing, you know, and I'd always be like, oh, this guy commented this, we got to say that, and he's like, no, like it's fine, it's fine. But when I got my channel and somebody wants to, you know, talk some shit, then I'll be like, okay. And I never respond, you know, with me being mean. You got to be the bigger person, you know,
Right.
like. And sometimes, you know, when you're in the heat of the moment, when you see something that you don't like, you might think angrily and, you know, irrationally, and you want to say, oh, you know, like, F you, you know, why'd you say that? But, you know, you just kind of got to be the bigger person. And usually logic comes out on top. A lot of the times people are pretty irrational with the comments that they leave you, you know. So if you kind of just put them in their place in a nice way, then you'll probably gain more respect for that than if you would have just flipping out on somebody saying, you know, oh, F you, you know, get out of my comments or you're blocked, you know. So it depends how you handle it, for sure.
Absolutely. Did you ever get any like mean people in your Omegle sessions, Hunter?
Yeah, I actually had one where I was getting absolutely roasted by like a 12-year-old, and you just completely. But I was like, as it was happening, I'm like, this is the best content I could have had. This is like, I'm probably like a 12-year-old kid. He's got like an Xbox controller. Like his parents are obviously not home because he is saying, fuck you, you fucking idiot, all that stuff. And I'm like, yes, this is views.
Yep.
And, that video blew up pretty well, and just all the comments were just, I mean, it's just funny to laugh at. Some people, I mean, would actually try and come at me, and I'm like, well, it depends, you know, what they say. I'm like, can I use this or not? So,
Right.
again, I mean, I see everything. I read plenty of comments. I've seen people say like, "I'm gonna come slit your throat over a Halo video," and I'm like, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I've been on the internet for a while. Brendan can attest. I used to get in, like when I was younger, we'd get in fights with people on Xbox Live, and they say they're gonna come kick my ass. I'd be like, all right, well, here's my full address.
Yeah.
Just full on, like, come do something. Nothing's gonna happen.
Well,
but
everybody's a tough guy over the internet, you know.
Yes,
exactly.
Like,
but do you see the trouble with giving away your address now, though, with all the swatting going on?
Yeah, now
that would never happen these days. Yeah, never even joking about it, you know.
Man,
yeah, so. This is 2010, where also I'm a naive kid, but you know, over Xbox Live, people, the internet's a little different than what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just freaky, this whole thing with the swatting. Like to me, I think the most recent one was like a Hearthstone streamer. It's just someone who's just playing a Magic card game, and then next thing they know, her and her, you know, significant other have the SWAT team showing up at her.
Yeah, place. Her family got arrested too. Like they had them in handcuffs and everything, and then obviously, you know, the whole, like, no one was in the house kidnapping or holding anyone hostage, so they all got released. But yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah, especially when people have died as a result of it. I mean,
yeah. I was just gonna say, I can't believe that there's people who, you know, have seen the consequences of it happening previously, yet they still do it. Like, you got to be a certain type of person to go and send the police over to someone's house making a crazy threat, you know. And some, you know, bigger YouTubers and streamers and all that, they'll take the initiative to contact their local police department and say, hey, you know, just so you know, this is a thing that actually happens. So, you know, write down my address, write down my phone number, you know, remember my name. And if you get a call saying that this person's doing this or that at this address, you know, be cautious because it might not be going down. And, you know, it does suck because obviously the police are just doing their job. You know, they got to respond. If they're getting a crazy call, you know, what else are they going to do? Just be like, no, that's nothing, you know, and just, you know, so they got to come like that. But yeah, I mean, it sucks that people are willing to go to that extent to just be a troll, or to, you know, just be an ass or something like that. And for no reason too. Like, it could be over a simple disagreement on the internet, or, you know, they just may not like that person. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, I'll send the police to your house. You know, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. It takes a special kind of like crazy to do something like that. Hunter, it was probably the same guy that threatened to slit your throat, you know?
Yeah,
you just get these
was.
crazy ass people out there, you know? It's just so wild. But you were at C2E2 recently, right, Hunter?
Yeah. Yes, I was.
What was that like?
It was actually a lot of fun. I went with I didn't get like invited down there or anything. My girlfriend, she lives in the city of Chicago. So we're just like random day, you want to go just check it out? We really just went to like Artist Alley. We were kind of with her and her family. So we didn't like go to any panels or anything, but it was a lot of fun. I didn't run into anyone who recognized me, which is always sad because that's like that'd be. I'm waiting for the day where I'm walking down the street and someone's like, "Are you that one guy that talks about movies?" And I can throw the famous "Did you know?"
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm hoping one of my goals for 2022 is to be totally transparent is to be invited to stuff. I want to be invited to movie premieres. I want to be invited to like E3 and all that. So I'm getting working on making sure that happens and not having to pay for an admission ticket. I want to be a somebody amongst the common.
Well, we're starting off small. We're starting with invitation to Bauer's House podcast, and then it's gonna progress. It's gonna progress. But no, it would be awesome to be able to go to E3. I've never gotten the opportunity to go to these big conventions, but they gotta be fun. They seem like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different climate now with COVID. Like how I've been to a couple conventions before, but just it's so weird. We look back and to think like I was at a convention all day, then I would go to a restaurant and then I would eat food, and maybe I'm just a gross 20-year-old guy, but I would just go straight from a convention where I'm shaking people's hands, I'm touching everything, and then I go and I eat food with my hands. And now I to think about that, I'm like, oh my god, that's a nightmare. Like that's asking for trouble. So
yeah,
you're just a lot more cautious, a lot more hand sanitizer before I do anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm not one to cry about a mask or anything. In the city of Chicago, it's super like mask and wear or and have your vaccine card and everything. And I'm double and boosted, so I don't mind about any of that. But it is like just a different vibe when everything has to be spread out a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely changes the whole aspect of going to these big events, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's always something in the back of your mind too. It's like, I don't want to get sick to go buy go buy stuff or go watch like a panel or two.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. Like just ever since the pandemic came along, I mean, we're, kind of realizing how maybe unsanitary we may have been like previously. I mean, it's not saying that the pandemic was a good thing to happen, but it's making people realize, okay, the way that we were going about things might have been not the best way. And yes,
right.
There's definitely cities that are way more enforcing of, masks and vaccines and boosters and all that. But it does kind of suck having to, go somewhere and be like, okay, well, it's always sitting in the back of your head, like, am I going to get sick from this? Or, what's going to happen? If you want to if you see somebody like, somebody who inspired you, it's like, do you go up and want to shake their hand, or how are they going to respond to it? It's like, you can't do that stuff anymore. You got to be super cautious and think about stuff. Like just over the summer, I went to, a rock festival, and I hadn't been to a show in like a very long time. And, it was up in Wisconsin, and up there they're kind of loose about, it depends where you go, but up there they were pretty loose about, mask requirements and, all that sort of stuff. And I ended up getting a little bit sick afterwards. And I was like, well, what was it? Like, was it COVID? Was it, just a summer cold or what, but definitely, I mean, being more cautious about stuff and, making sure to obviously, have good hygiene. I mean, like I said previously beforehand, like Hunter mentioned, you would be at a convention shaking everyone's hand, touching all this stuff, not even thinking about it, and then go over to get some lunch and you're just eating, and it's like, okay, well, what could have happened? You know, could I have gotten sick or whatever? So it definitely gives you a different perspective and like, you know, how to look, you know, towards things and all that. So
yeah, it definitely does. And looking at the good side of the pandemic, it's been really good for content creators, right? It's like for anyone
yeah.
who's just been inside, gives us all a great opportunity to just make videos.
Yeah, people are staying home and they're watching videos more often, so that always
Yeah,
works for me.
definitely. For sure.
Absolutely. When you guys were growing up, did you ever notice like movie details yourselves, or was this something like you'd find out after the fact of like watching certain things or even playing games?
I mean, I'm trying to think. For movie facts, that was probably more like after the fact. I'm really into like whenever I watch a movie, the first thing I do is go on Google, look up the name of that movie, and then put Reddit at the end and
Yeah,
see
yeah.
like, okay, what did I miss and how? And I want everyone to explain everything to me exactly. So I got like really interested in like, oh, like all that. I've really always been super into Easter eggs, and I think you have as well, Brendan.
Yeah.
And just playing games and seeing what we can find. Brendan and I have very similar taste to games, so I think say we had a pretty similar approach as well, where we play the games and then we would, as you know, we had no responsibilities as kids, so we would just
Yeah.
play through those as much as we could, find everything in it that we could. And yeah, I've always just liked Easter eggs, little call outs to different games and stuff like that.
Yeah, thinking about it, you know, from my end, like with movies and stuff like that, you know, when I was a kid, I would just kind of watch a movie to watch a movie. And like, I love movies now. And like, you know, when I watch them differently than I did as a kid, because when I was a kid, I was just like, okay, you know, it's something to watch, you know, but now I get more involved with the stories and all that. And I do like to, you know, learn about things that I missed or may have missed, you know, the first time around watching it. But when it comes to video games, I don't know, like thinking about it in this moment right now, um, like when I would play video games as a kid, you know, I would always spend extra time to go and look for things, you know, spend as much time, you know, searching around the game, you know, like not even knowing that the developer could have hidden something in there, but just wanting to explore, you know. And I'll always remember the first Easter egg in a game that I ever, you know, found out about, and it was on my own. I was pretty young. I had my GameCube and I was playing the Spider-Man games. And in the first game, you have a battle up against the Vulture in that clock tower, and then you end up, the end of the battle is like on the Chrysler building or something like that in New York. And then in the second game, if you go to the Chrysler building, you can actually see feathers from the Vulture from the previous fight in that game. And as a kid, I was like, wait a minute, like, what the hell's this? Like this was in the previous game. I was like, is this supposed to be here? And then I was like, I don't know, just as a kid, that was like a thought. But then realizing later on, I was like, oh, that was an Easter egg. Like that was intentionally put there. And then, you know, playing Call of Duty and all that, you know, playing the zombies games, you know, the Call of Duty zombies, like, you know, completing their Easter eggs. That was always a huge hype for me. Seeing all the teddy bears and all that in the Call of Duty games. And then, you know, once I really figured out what Easter eggs were, you know, I spent extra time trying to go and find them. So, you know, definitely had an interest in those, you know, just stuff that, you know, you would have missed before and that you didn't really think was there. But that's why I try to take as much time as I can with games, you know, like really exploring everything that they have, because you'd really be surprised to see what some games put in there, but, you know, it goes overlooked by the majority of the players.
Yeah, it'll take years for players to find certain things. And the devs will just be amazed that people are even finding these, like whatever it is, you know.
People are still finding stuff in Skyrim, which is obviously old now. It's like over 10 years old. GTA, you know, tons of Easter eggs being found every day. Red Dead, you know, so many games that like, and you know, the developers are probably sitting there thinking like, damn, I wonder when someone's going to find this that I put in there, you know. But yeah, and one of the things that I always found fascinating and still kind of have no idea how it really works is how, you know, the Easter eggs for the zombies games get solved, like those very long and complex ones. You know, I would always be like, okay, who figured this shit out? You know, like who figured out that you have to press X on this thing,
yes,
you know, or that. And it's like, I don't know, I guess it's like a community and a collective effort, you know, but my brain doesn't understand that because I don't know.
That's what I was going to bring up too, was I want to be the guy that discovers an Easter egg. That I like hit the wrong combination of buttons and then something happens, like
yeah,
or like whoever was the first person to discover that if you like hold a button when you start up the GameCube, it like plays a whole different like tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy how there's people out there that will either by mistake or on purpose or whatever just unravel these mysteries.
Yeah, when I was playing the Spider-Man game, believe me, I thought I was the very first and only person in the world to know about that. I was like, I'm a genius, but I don't know, definitely people who are way older than me playing that game were like, oh yeah, let's go check that out. And there's Easter egg hunters, you know, who really go around and look for that sort of stuff in game. I wouldn't consider myself an Easter egg hunter, but I definitely, you know, like learning about them. And, you know, if I happen to find one on my own, you know, then I'll be like, okay, this is awesome. So definitely give props to the people who scour the game, like, you know, and really spend all of their time looking for the stuff that, you know, is like pretty cool and that was hidden, you know, and put it in there by the developers.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny because when was it? I think it was a couple years ago. I covered the GTA Easter egg where it's the one that like a ton of people know about, but where you see the ghost through like the sniper rifle.
Oh yeah,
like from like near the cliff or wherever it is.
Yeah, Mount Chiliad. Yeah,
Mount Chiliad.
At like midnight. Yeah, midnight. Yep.
So when I put out that video, someone in the comments was like, "Dude, I've seen this a million times." So I'm thinking, all right, you know, I get it, but it's like it's fun to cover these Easter eggs, even if they've been done like to death. But that's why I'm trying to shift towards newer Easter eggs, like new games that come out. Like I covered there was the Office Easter egg in Dying Light 2 where someone had like some sort of a posting on one of the buildings saying looking for a stapler, and it was signed by Dwight Schrute. So
okay, yeah, I saw that on your YouTube shorts.
Yeah. So, you know, at least that's an Easter egg that people are just now becoming aware of. So it's like, I guess in a way, it's probably better to cover like newer ones.
I do think there is value. Like for every, I mean, I upload just about every single day on all my accounts, and I can't just covering new stuff. It actually usually does bring in a lot of views, but you know, I'll cover sometimes games that came out 20 years ago, putting something out. And yeah, there's a bunch of people saying like, oh yeah, I know about this, but there is a lot of people, especially with TikTok, because you can reach so many people, where it's people seeing this for the first time, and it might even get them to either go watch that movie again or go play that game again. Yeah. And, you know, not everyone has, I know on Reddit, we were talking about that earlier, Reddit, especially if you repost something, it's like, might as well have, yeah, it is the end of the world. But not everyone was on Reddit at that time. Not everyone, I mean, there's new people on the internet all the time. So there is value in posting stuff that people have seen or reposting stuff, because it might reach someone new for the first time, and it might give them a chance to either go check that out, go revisit that, or check that out for the first time.
One of the comments that never really gets old is, oh, everybody knew this, or I've seen this already. And it's like, I don't care, you know? And
yeah, it's like good for you.
Yeah, the comments with everybody knew this already, that's obviously bullshit. Not everybody. And, you know, those are the comments that really get under my skin, because I'm like, okay, you know it all. Like, then why don't you go post something that no one's ever known about in the entire world? But I, a while back, I posted, when Halo Infinite came out, there was a mechanic where you can see invisible elites through like the thermal scope. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So I recorded it and I uploaded it. And then people were saying like, you know, oh, this has been a mechanic forever, like everybody's already known this. And I'm like, well, you know, believe it or not, some people are new to Halo, and playing Halo Infinite may be their very first Halo game, and maybe they didn't know that, you know. Right. So it's just the people who don't really think about that shit, and I have to correct them on it, you know. That's a fight I'm willing to take, you know. I'm like, okay, well, let me explain to you why not everybody knew this, or, you know, why you're looking like a jackass.
I love your fighting spirit, Brenden, like fighting these trolls. Like I'm gonna put them in this place, you know.
Yeah,
me.
I have to, but yeah, that stuff like that, it's like, okay, come on, like, and even if you did know it, why does it, some people get mad that you posted something that they already knew, and it's like, if you already knew it, maybe it'll add some nostalgia, maybe it'll make you remember the time that you figured it out,
exactly.
and it's just like, it's again back to the thing, there's always got to be somebody who's negative about something. And it's like, does it hurt to see an Easter egg that you already knew again? No, not at all. But it's just them taking the time out of their day to post some dumb stuff. So
I feel like with these comments, I have like a little bit of both of you guys. Like, there's moments where I have Hunter's patience of like, don't say anything, just let it slide. And then I have like the Brenden side going like, nah, fuck that, reply right now.
Yeah, you got the Hunter Angel and the Brenden Devil on your shoulder.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh man. It's funny too, because the other day I was watching the first Resident Evil movie on Amazon Prime, and I don't know if you guys have ever used this feature. It's called X-Ray on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
I love that feature, but I find myself, so basically what it is it will just like detail out notes of the scene you're watching, or give you like little factoids about it. But I find myself pausing the movie so much when I do that, because it will point out all the continuity errors that I would not have noticed if I just sat back and watched the movie.
There's a Chrome extension for that for Netflix that I actually use for some of my videos. Like, I'm going to watch a movie that I don't particularly, I'm really huge into like immersion. So I like if I'm watching a movie like Arrival, let's say, I want the lights off and I want to be fully immersed. But if I'm watching whatever movie maybe I've seen a million times, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there's a Chrome extension where it'll do that like same X-ray thing, but for Netflix. And it'll link with the IMDb trivia, so you can kind of learn a lot more like of each scene and like what's happening in this with the behind the scenes of it. So if you that's a dangerous extension for you. I would not download that if you plan on being immersed, because I'm always like stopping and pausing, like, okay, wait, tell me about the history of this.
I was just gonna say there's something similar like that for music when you're on Spotify, the Genius thing that pops up. It either tells you the lyrics of the song or it'll, give you facts about it, and I've learned a lot actually from that, but it's just, I don't know. I just like learning more about just something then rather than when it's taken from face value. You could watch a movie and then be like, okay, I just watched a movie, or you could watch it and be like, okay, well, I want to know more about it. Like, why did they put this in that scene? Or, why did they have this, but it's cool to see how much thought goes behind something, or learning like the, cool little facts that you may not have even thought about,
Exactly. And the continuity scene that blew my mind was one of the videos you guys put out of Wolf of Wall Street when he's falling down, how it should be like 5 steps, and then in another scene it's actually like way more, and I'm like, I would not have known. And that's like such an obvious one too,
Oh yeah, if go to the comments on that one, people will tell you that it's obvious. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it.
Me neither.
So.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm just amazed at like these people that they will sit down for the first time of watching these movies, and they'll be like, oh, I noticed that, or oh, I noticed that. I don't know how you do it.
I will say, since this has started becoming a job for me, I do have a hard time like now when I'm sitting down, and especially the Marvel movies, because my Marvel account, everybody loves Marvel. Those videos always blow up.
Yeah.
If I'm watching a Marvel movie, and I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I try and be immersed and everything, but I'm watching it, I'm like, Easter egg, point that out, remember that, okay, write that down. Like, I'm trying to think of everything so that the second it comes out on digital and DVD, I'm like, video. Dude, so it's hard to shut my brain up. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's a important topic here I got to cover with Easter eggs. Rat Easter eggs. What is the deal with rat Easter eggs in some of these games? Like in Call of Duty, I saw the one where it's like, if you bring the cheese wheel to the freaking fountain or whatever, then they all start like running around it. And it instantly made me think of one that I hope you guys are aware of. It's from Hitman Blood Money. And there's one mission where the mission's called Curtain Call. If you shoot 3 rats near like this desk. A key card will appear on the desk and it'll say Rat Club. So you pick up that key card and you walk over and you find in like some other hallway, there's this room that has a key card slot. So you use it, you walk in, and then you see beyond like deeper into the room that there's a bunch of rats playing poker and boxing each other. And it's like a whole club, and they're like, there's like a little rat waiter serving them cheese.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's the most absurd thing, but it just made me think, like, what's with these devs and rat Easter eggs of all things?
Yeah, there does seem to be some things that are like common amongst like, you know, people who put Easter eggs in games, like teddy bears, for example. It's not, the teddy bears aren't just exclusive to the Call of Duty series. I mean, there's multiple games that I've known that have, you know, similar stuff like that. But yeah, with that Pied Piper Easter egg, that was another one that was actually taken from one of Hunter's. He did the gaming Easter egg stuff on the YouTube channel. We did the gaming details and then gaming Easter eggs, sort of similar stuff, but you know, the Easter eggs more focused on like, Easter eggs, obviously, rather than details.
Right.
But yeah, for that video, I spent a long time trying to film it because first of all, I had to boot up my Xbox One, which was like the, you know, the very first kind of Xbox One. I didn't have a Series X yet.
Yeah.
Because the game was installed on that, and I didn't want to wait all day to get Modern Warfare because I don't know if you're familiar, but Modern Warfare is a huge download anyways, and it's not in the best state right now. So it takes forever to load up and all that. So I was like, gosh, damn it. Like, you know, this is just taking forever. And it took me, I want to say it took me in total like 3 hours, maybe 4, just to get everything all done. Because when I was done filming the very last thing, a notification popped up on my Xbox that one of my friends had gotten online. And I was like, God damn it. It's just ruined the whole thing. And it was taking me forever anyways. And I wasn't really happy. This was more so me overthinking everything, but wasn't happy with it. And I was like, well, this better pay off. So finally, when I got it uploaded, the video did do pretty well. It's one of the best videos I have on my channel. But yeah, there was, again, you know, the people saying like, oh, this is old, you know, or I knew this already. But I did have a lot of people saying like, oh, I'm going to go and give this a try, you know, if I can manage to load up Call of Duty. But yeah, it's cool seeing like the common, you know, items that involve Easter eggs, like, you know, rats or teddy bears or something along those lines, you know, that you can
Yeah,
find
I think it might
games.
be because like rats and maybe that's something easy to put in that like the developers, they already spent the time like creating the models of the rats, so it's like, well, we already got that in there, let's just easily use, instead of creating some like something that looks super cool, it's like, okay, well, just do the rats. But now that I did not, I just started getting into the Hitman games because they just went to Xbox Game Pass. I played Hitman 1 and 2, or I'm in the middle of Hitman 2. And I have like Absolution and Blood Money downloaded, like ready to play after that. But Brendan, it sounds like you just found your next video. You're gonna do the
yeah.
the
let
rats.
me get my pen and paper. I gotta write this down.
You gotta do that one, because I would love to sit down with like whichever dev put that like into the game and just be like, you knew someone was just gonna be shooting the rats in that room to trigger that key card and everything. Like, that's just amazing. And Hitman 2 is my favorite one of the series, by the way. The missions in that one are so much fun.
Yeah, I think I just started. I think I'm honestly, I think I'm on the first mission where like you're wearing like the wetsuit and you start at the sea. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I might be totally off on that, but
yeah, no, there's the earlier Hitman games for sure are good, like up to Blood Money. But then I think when you start to get into the more recent ones, I could be wrong, but a lot of them have some bugs in them. But then again, sometimes having bugs in games will make it a little more fun. So
yeah, sometimes there's some good ones.
Yeah. As long as it's not like Cyberpunk where it's just going to shatter your game and it's just going to be a horrible experience. But
there's some goofy glitches that deserve to be like, you know, that deserve to stay. Like, for example, in Halo Infinite, there's a super funny ass one where like when you load into a match, not all of the Spartans will be lined up. Like one of them will be like way across like the spawning area, and then it just like pans to like the lonely ass Spartan over there, you know. And it's like stuff like that. It doesn't hurt the game. It's just kind of funny to see every now and then. But I definitely think that some games could use a little bit more time in the oven these days. Especially, you know, I mean, look at, I mean, for example, Halo Infinite. Not that there's, I just feel like it's lacking a little bit of content, but, not that it's just Halo, it's Call of Duty as well. It's Battlefield, all these AAA games that were once the titans of the industry. They're now getting, being made fun of because they're releasing games that aren't ready to come out. And I was just telling Hunter about it, with Elden Ring. I'm a huge fan of the From Software games like Dark Souls, and all that stuff. And I'm super excited for Elden Ring to come out. And it was supposed to come out last month, but it got pushed back to this month on the 25th. And I was a little bit bummed about it, but I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'd rather have them release a finished product, because more often than not, I mean, I shouldn't say more often than not, but all too often we're seeing, especially with AAA titles, that they're more focused on pushing some half-assed project out, and I can't say for sure because obviously I'm not a video game developer, and I don't know all that goes into it. And, as time goes on, games are getting more and more complex, so they take more time to, make. But what I was going to say is that, I appreciate it when developers spend the extra time to put Easter eggs and more details into their game because they're already developing something, that takes time as it is, and they got to get focused on, putting all of the general, content in the game. So for them to spend the extra time to put the Easter eggs and the details in there, it just makes me appreciate the game and the devs a lot more,
Absolutely. And it's fine if devs will push a game's release date back, but make sure that it's like good when it gets released. Make sure like, because Cyberpunk I think they pushed it back like at least 3 times, maybe more.
Yeah.
And then they release this, half-baked game, and you get people that are so up in arms about it, rightfully so.
But just make it worth the wait.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
If you're going to push something back and out of, wanting to get it done right, and you don't end up putting it out right when it's finally released, like you kind of have to expect the backlash, And I just saw recently that apparently, a bunch of Battlefield 2042 players are trying to make a petition to get DICE or EA to give them their money back because they bought, an unfinished product, or something that they're not satisfied with. So
yeah, I think it's up to 150,000 signatures last time I checked.
Wow.
I mean, I don't blame them. I definitely want my money back. I mean, think about it with any other product. Like, let's say you go to Walmart and you get like a new toaster or something like that, or a microwave, and it's not working. You're going to send that shit back.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if the company was like, oh, it'll be out, we'll take a little bit of time and then finally release it and it's not working. That doesn't work.
Yeah, I want Walmart to really put a lot of time into their toasters before I buy
it.
I want to make sure I'm buying a quality toaster here. So Walmart, you got to get your shit together.
If I bought a microwave that connected to the internet from whatever, and every time that I hit 30 seconds, it went for an hour and a half and I couldn't stop it, and they're like, well, this is a live service microwave.
Yeah.
It'll just be patient with us. We're listening. I'd be like, I don't care. I want my money back. I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. Live service isn't an excuse to, say, oh, well, buy our game and we'll fix it over time. It's, give us a game that works, as it should be. And then, live services, I feel like that's meant more for adding more content. Like, you should already release a game that's filled with content, and that's working, but to use the live service thing as an excuse to fix your game over time rather than just adding more to what is supposed to be there, that's kind of lame. And not many gamers are going to put up with that, much longer, sooner or later. I mean, hopefully, there will be enough people to finally say, like, I'm going to stop pre-ordering this game to, prove a point to this company. They want all this money up front, and it's like they're not delivering, what they promised.
Yeah, there's definitely an expectation of quality. And as the years are going on in the gaming industry, there's a lot more pressure on these devs to put out the quality. It doesn't necessarily have to be graphics wise. I always put a lot of importance on gameplay and story and things like that, or music in a game. Those are things that will really immerse you in it. And I can overlook graphics. So it's like, if you're going to spend all this time on an IP, you got to make sure it's going to be good and that your fan base is going to like it. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you
definitely.
have like you can see good examples of it too. Like for example, a lot of the PlayStation games, like God of War, Spider-Man, these are great games they put out and they great reception. It makes out of sales. But games like Battlefield, if you push your customers too far, eventually they're going to push back and be like, all right, I'm just not buying it anymore. I mean, Brendan and I, we were huge fans of the series, but I didn't buy the new one. You didn't buy the new one, right?
For what, Battlefield?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I didn't buy the new one.
yeah, it just lost us as customers.
Yeah, we played the beta, and I mean, I know a beta is a beta, but that beta was trash, to say the least. It just was not working right, and so many bugs and stuff. And I know, like I said, I understand that that's the point of the beta. And like I also said, I understand that games are getting more and more complex, as time goes on. But, I mean, it comes from both ends, it comes from the gamers, to be a little bit more patient with, gaming companies. Like, I feel like half the time, gaming companies release an unfinished product too soon is partially for investors. They say, get this shit out and start making us money already. And the fans, they're like, we want to play the game already,
Right.
But I think more people, it definitely comes from both ends, the developers, just putting their foot down and saying, look, we're going to take as much time as it needs, and there are developers like that. Like I said, Elden Ring, they're going to put it in the oven for as long as it needs to go, and to release a finished and satisfying product. But with how long it takes to make a good game these days, people got to be a little bit more patient. And when you expect something to be released within like a year or two, I just recently heard that Call of Duty may step away from the yearly release cycles, and maybe that'll give us a better Call of Duty, in the future.
I would love that, honestly. I think that's the best thing for Call of Duty, because Vanguard came out and I'm like, is this like a copy paste here? Like, what?
Control C, Control V.
Exactly. Like, I'm not really getting the hype, and it's like, that will for sure be a good thing. And I think sports games should do the same,
Yeah.
because in my opinion, FIFA 22 compared to like FIFA 17 is pretty damn similar to me. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we added a freaking ball engine, it's gonna move better in the grass. I'm like, you're not convincing me.
With with a sports game, those would kind of make more sense to have being like a live service thing, because you can only change, like, the game never changes. I mean, obviously you can update graphics, bring in new players and all that, but as far as a football game, the game of football hasn't changed for however long it's been around. I mean, it's changed, but not by much.
Right.
So with games
exactly.
like that, it makes more sense to make it into a live service rather than having to make a new a new game every year or two, or
$60.
whatever. Yeah, seriously, because it's like, what more are you getting? Honestly. And I've never really, I mean, I've played sports games before, but as far as like Call of Duty, I haven't been excited for a new Call of Duty release in quite a few years. I mean, Call of Duty was one of the games that I grew up on. I mean, the first one I got was Call of Duty 2, the big red one on the GameCube. I remember being at Toys R Us and hounding my aunt saying like, oh, can I please have this? Can I please have this? And she's like, I got to go talk to your mom and make sure that it's all right. And I was like, because I was in like third or second, I wouldn't say second grade. I got my GameCube maybe when I was like in first or second grade, but and obviously my mom didn't really know too much, but she saw the M rating and was like, oh, I don't know. But eventually she let me get it. And like, ever since then I was hooked on Call of Duty, and I looked forward, to one of the first online games I ever played was Call of Duty. At one of my friends' houses. He was one of the first friends that I went over to, and he had Xbox Live, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is the greatest thing ever. I didn't end up getting Xbox Live until like maybe 5th or 6th grade. But when I did, the first game I hopped onto was World at War. And I was like, this is so much fun, kept on, staying up to date on the releases, like, when's Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Warfare 3. I'd say I stopped becoming interested in the Call of Duty games around, I don't know, around the time of Ghosts and Advanced Warfare is when I started seeing the decline, when they started focusing more on profit from the players, like introducing more and more microtransactions and just introducing all that gimmicky shit. Like, I don't care for all that. I want like a game that's fun to play. I don't care about what skins coming to, and I could go on a forever long conversation about, wanting to see more content that is earned through skill. Like the coolest skin in a game these days you're gonna find being able to be obtained through a paywall. rather than achieving something great in a game. Like, you know, I don't know, I just like that sort of gameplay, you know, better than like, oh, you know, we'll include some base game stuff, but you know, if you want the coolest shit, then you gotta, you know, have a good looking wallet. So
yeah, like we could have a whole separate episode on just that topic.
I was about to say,
yes,
if you keep Brenden going on this,
I won't shut the fuck up.
And I love discussing that too, because I mean, I grew up on these PC games where they put out expansion packs, and that was pretty similar, you know, to like microtransactions in a way. Like I love The Sims, and then they put out The Sims Pets. I'm like, okay, I'll shell out another $30 to have a dog and a cat in the game. Why not?
Well, yeah, I mean, earlier DLCs were more so like, you know, a live service. You know, back then they didn't have, like the serious microtransactions where it's literally like $1 or $2 or $5, you know, but back then it would just be a DLC pack, you know, in addition to the game that's already complete. You know, so with those, I'd have no problem throwing. Back then, it was Microsoft points. You know, now they got rid of that, and it's just, you know, you gotta, you know, dish out money just blatantly. But you know, I wouldn't mind spending $15 on, you know, an extra 4 maps or whatever it is, however many they included, because I felt that it was worth it. But you know, with microtransactions now, it's like, okay, I was just talking to Hunter, like with Halo, you know, with how they have, you know, just what is it, like an armor set that's like $20, and it's like, is this really worth a third of a previous Halo game that you guys released? You know, I always go back to Reach. Like Halo Reach is one of my favorite games, a $60 game. I'd have no problem throwing down $60 because I know they wouldn't ask for more unless it was a DLC, but it already came with everything you needed in the $60 base game. You know, all those armor customizations, all those, a great campaign, a great multiplayer, firefight, you know, all that stuff, you know. But games are seriously, you know, lacking content these days. And I feel like that's, you know, it's kind of turned me off to video games in a way. You know, I still play video games, you know, but I'm not as hyped for them as I once was, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we are past our time. It just flew right by.
Sure,
but we can always have another episode just strictly on microtransactions. And what we're gonna here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that episode behind a paywall. We're gonna put a microtransaction episode. If you want to tune in, $1.99 or 500 Microsoft points, and we'll just freaking go in for that episode and just go all out.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I want to say thank you for having us on, and I'd definitely be down to do, you know, more episodes in the future, you know.
Yeah,
super
thank you,
fun.
Alex.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure having you guys on. And do you guys have anything to plug or promote?
Basically check out, you know, our TikTok pages. I run the Gaming Easter Eggs TikTok page, and also that's at Gaming Easter Eggs, and then I also run another one at Recording Facts. We haven't uploaded in a while, but you know, if you want to check out some of our older content on YouTube, it's go to Gaming by Gamers. So Hunter, you can take.
Yeah, I mean, gamebygamers.com if you want to go check some of your favorite pop culture, whether it be movies, TVs, video games, or Google at Hidden Movie Details, and then just go to my following list, and then you can find all of our accounts. I only follow our account, so it's nice and easy to find all of our content right there. Yep. But yeah, besides that, that's all I got to plug. Thank you again, Alex, and we really appreciate you having us on here.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for watching or listening. Don't forget to rate and review the show, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.
Bye, Internet.